All right, folks, welcome to Over the Top Rope Royal Rumble edition. I had this lovely, sorry, I guess I should turn on to my camera here. Normally, I'm not on the screen here, folks. Mike Maloney, the senior engineer here at Backbreaker Media. And as some of you may know, I am also the basketball correspondent here at the WCSN, well, the main one, along with Duncan Duma. As much as we're going to talk about wrestling, we're going to have a hell of a time here at Beercade with the Royal Rumble. There's something we do need to bring up that just happened this afternoon. If you guys haven't heard on social media here, Kobe Bryant, as well as his daughter Gianna, passed away in a helicopter crash. I know I was talking with a few people before the show. I know I was talking with Parrish. I know he'll bring a few ideas up here in a bit here. But I wanted to speak on this first off here. And it does have a bit of a wrestling correlation, which I will get to. Myself, I'm the same age as Kobe Bryant, 41 years old, who unfortunately, like I said, passed away today. So I got to watch him grow as I was growing, as we got people in the background here. I got to see him grow, but a lot of people in this world watched him as a kid. And a lot of basketball fans, a lot of basketball players, a lot of basketball people. Hell, he transcended basketball. Like, one comment I want to bring up here, and this is where the tally's going to start getting together. OSW Review, Jay Hunter, the guy who runs that YouTube channel, absolutely great channel. If you get a chance, go channel. I plug stuff all the time. Spencer can, I can as well then. He mentioned a very important point. He doesn't follow NBA, he doesn't follow basketball, but he knows who Kobe Bryant is. And to many people, Kobe Bryant was a hero, whether it be to his daughter, who he was just going to start coaching, who was an elite level prospect in basketball, or to dozens and dozens of people that were getting into the game. Kobe Bryant was their mentor, their hero, and whatnot. And that's where I get the correlation here, folks. We're talking about heroes when it comes to wrestling. We got good guys, we got bad guys, we got villains, we got great talents all there. Kobe Bryant was a real life hero. Now, we're not going to get into the dirt on him because, hell, we know social media is going to get into that over the next few days here. And unfortunately, there are scumbags everywhere. But I digress. But saying that, he was a hero to so many people. Just like wrestlers are a hero to all of us in many ways. Just a quick reminder to you guys to take care of people that you consider heroes, whether it be sports heroes. Wrestlers, in many ways, to a lot of fans, are heroes as well. Family, whether it be true family or adopted family. But just make sure you take care of them every day, because you never know when something like this is going to happen. But for right now, I'm going to hand it over to the kings of the Wincom Sports Network. As you hear the nice feedback there on the microphones, Spencer Love and Chris Parrish, our hosts for Over the Top Rope Live. We're going to get into the Royal Rumble here in just a second, but I know you guys wanted to say a few things about Kobe Bryant yourselves.
I just loved him. I wasn't a basketball fan. I can't say much as far as Kobe personally goes. I know my brothers are Lakers fans. They're probably, like many people, as far as basketball goes, feeling it a little bit more than I am. But like Mike said, Kobe Bryant was obviously a guy who transcended basketball. He transcended the world of sports, and the world lost a great man today.
Yeah, I think we all know how much of a job.
All right, guys. Come on, you. I forgot the mics are still on here. All right, folks, we are back. Sorry, we had a little bit of internet issues there with the show here, but any last thoughts before we move on to the Rumble here?
No, I think that before we move on to the Rumble, I just want to let everyone know that I am smiling because of the internet issues. I get to take a cut of Mike's paycheck today as the producer. Ladies and gentlemen, of course, obviously the sad news today sets a little bit of a downer on today's Royal Rumble, but the Royal Rumble taking place today on the WWE Network. The pre-show is going to start here in about half an hour, but you don't need to watch that. You are tuned into Over the Top Rope Live, the first edition of Over the Top Rope Live of the decade. Of course, myself, Spencer Love, Chris Parrish, joining me as always. Parrish, the Rumble, I know I speak for you on this one, but it's my favorite event of the year. Very, very excited. Overall thoughts heading into today's event?
Well, as you can see, I wore a Shawn Michaels t-shirt today, and then there's actually a really good story behind it. I was, going between this and my WrestleMania 12 Shawn Michaels shirt that, yes, it still fits, because
You've always been that skinny.
Skinny, yeah, sure. But it's honestly because the very first time I watched a live pay-per-view was when I was able to go over to Brothers Friends, and we watched the 1995 Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
And as a Shawn Michaels fan, I saw Shawn Michaels make history by being not only the first person entered but winning, but then also, being the pro wrestling Sean Avery, and he made his own rule with the 1 foot on the ground. Now it's the Shawn Michaels rule. So I mean, for a lot of it at the Royal Rumble, just catapults everything. It's not only one of the most anticipated matches, exciting matches, amazing ideas.
Yep.
Thank you, Pat Patterson. But it's also the lead off to the road to WrestleMania, so to speak, and it's one of the greatest times to be a wrestling fan, especially if you're a fan of the WWE. So I'm excited.
Yeah, man, and it's funny you mentioned apparel yourself, wearing the Shawn Michaels shirt myself, the Chelsea green shirt. Of course, fans of the WCSN know I'm just a big fan of Canadian wrestling, Western Canadian wrestling, and of course, Victoria's own Chelsea green. But another reason I chose to wear this specific shirt today, because the Royal Rumble is a time for surprises. You can really get anybody coming from anywhere, whether it's Raw, SmackDown, NXT. Some people could be returning, which I know you and I are going to get into a little bit later on here, but of course, anything can happen, ladies and gentlemen. It is the Royal Rumble.
Even sign stealing, since it's live in Houston, Texas.
I was wondering how long it would take for you to get in there, sir.
Chalk it up for one now, Mr. Parrish. I know we're going to talk about the Royal Rumble itself a little later on here, but as I pull up the run sheet here, Mike, what will be our first match that we are going to discuss? Actually, before we do that, let's get into thanking our sponsor, of course, Beercade YEG, the home of Edmonton professional wrestling. If you were in Edmonton, I know a couple of you watching, Mr. Omen, Mr. Dylan Featherstone, some of Edmonton indie wrestling's finest. Feel free to head down to Beercade YEG, the home of Edmonton Pro Wrestling, on 105th Street and 82nd Avenue. There's $4 beers, $4 menu items. Chris Parrish, myself, and a ton of other members of the wrestling family here in Edmonton. If you guys head down before the end of the broadcast of OTTR Live, I'll buy your first beer. There's a little bit of incentive for you outside of the fact that the Royal Rumble is going to be a hell of a time.
He can use my producer money for that.
Also, if you are
Thanks,
here
Mike.
at Beercade YEG and you do want to enjoy, make sure that these waitresses are working their tails off for you. So make sure not only are you nice to them, but you also take care of them, because they're taking care of you. So at the end of the day, we want everyone not only to be safe, have a good time, but we also want everybody to be nice and play safe.
100%, friend. Now, Mike, I'm going to let you walk us into the first match here, which I know is one that some people may be a little blasé about, but I personally very, very excited for
Could be
this
a little
one.
short on excitement.
Wow, a few short jokes to go into this one.
Bad wrestling plans.
What a surprise here. We got Shorty G taking on Sheamus in our first matchup here at the Royal Rumble.
You know, Parrish, bad wrestling puns don't just shame me, they shame us all.
Yeah, he could be a big fella going into this match, but I think, I kind of want to see the spot where he goes for a bro kick, but because he's taller, it just goes over the head of Shorty G. I think it'd be really funny. But yeah, I mean, this isn't, I don't think this is a match Shorty G is going to overachieve at. I think he's going to fall just a little short. I can't help it. I'm also tiny, but
Stop.
it's funny. I mean, I'm sure no matter how good Shorty G's performance is, he will get paid under the table. But I'm going with Sheamus in this match.
Well,
Wow.
I have no way to put it, man, other than if this match is as bad as your puns, nobody should watch professional wrestling.
Nah.
I'm excited for this one, though, man. Sheamus has long been a favorite of mine since the League of Nations, frankly, one of my favorite factions of all time. And I can't wait for this match. He's a great wrestler, somebody that I think is perennially underrated as far as professional wrestling goes. And Shorty G, I think that, you know, his name is easily the worst part about him. He's a guy who's terrific. He's proven it time and time again, whether in singles action, like the King of the Ring tournament, whether in a tag team like he was with American Alpha or Bobby Roode. I think that he's just a great pro wrestler, and he's really, really good when working with people with a bit of a different dynamic to him. So going up against Sheamus, I think there's a lot of room for not improvement, but I think there's a lot of room for these guys to really prove what the both of them can do. I got to agree with you, though, man. Sheamus, in his return match to the WWE, I think that he's going to take the W and move on to bigger and better things sooner rather than later.
Yeah, this definitely, I believe,
That's how you slip in a wrestling pun.
You know, no. This actually has one of the opportunities, I think, to be one of those best matches of the night, just because of the fact that we're all not really looking. We're looking past this match, to be quite honest. We're not expecting this match to be a show stealer, but these are both amazing athletes. Sheamus has definitely a point to prove coming back, and Shorty G is definitely one of those guys where I think he always has a chip on his shoulder. He's always putting in great performances. I will not take anything away from him. He is fantastic, and if I could wrestle like him, I probably would be a lot bigger.
Physically and figuratively.
I mean, yeah.
right.
I'm done with those puns.
Both taking Sheamus. Interesting. Now, Mike, moving on to a match that I know that all of us are excited about. What are we moving on to?
This one
All of these matches are exciting. I love the Rumble, man.
This one might actually be the sleeper of the night here that a lot of people aren't picking up on. We got Humberto Carrillo taking on Andrade for the U.S. Championship.
I'm excited for the match, but does anybody really care about Humberto Carrillo? I think he's a great professional wrestler, but like, there's nothing redeeming about him yet. Now, I do think that the way that they've positioned Andrade, like, they've really started to build a star out of him, not just sort of these stop-start pushes that you saw over the last couple of years. I think they've done a great job with him over the last sort of 6 months outside of just calling on him for a great match with Rey Mysterio every so often. You know what I mean? So I do think that this can be used to elevate Mr. Carrillo himself, but Andrade's a star, and I am very, very excited to see where they go from here. I hope that he retains here. To be quite honest with you, I think that it's going to be via DQ or something along those lines that Carrillo's going to get the win just because Zelina Vega gets involved or Andrade wins dirty.
Yeah.
But do I really want to see this program continue? I mean, to be honest with you, not a ton. But I think that it will, but do I want to? Not particularly.
And I think one of the big ones for me was watching the return of Humberto on Raw after that amazing ladder match that Andrade and Rey had.
Basically murdered each other in.
Yeah, and what I liked was that he showed a little bit of aggression when he came back, but what I didn't like was the holdback with that aggression. And because of that, makes me a little resistant on wanting to get on that Humberto train right now. There's just something a part of him that doesn't pull me in from a fan standpoint.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
While Andrade does everything to pull you in. He's not only a great performer or a great wrestler, but he's one of the few guys in professional wrestling right now that is using a manager the exact way you should as a heel. And because of that, I do think Zelina Vega does get involved like she always does.
Yep.
And I think she's going to be that X factor. And I think Humberto takes a dirty loss here. I think this continues. But at the end of the day, I wouldn't be surprised if this is a short feud, because I think the one that we're all waiting for is Andrade versus Aleister.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you there at all, man. Aleister Black's been slowly building himself up. I don't know offhand, and I know we'll talk about it a little later on, but is Aleister Black, is he announced for the Rumble?
I believe he is, actually.
Mike, can you fact check us on that one while we wait here?
I'll be working on that during the break here.
Thank you very much. We will get back to you on Aleister Black's confirmation for the Rumble, but if he is, I think he's definitely poised to either put on a great performance in that, or like you say, I think that the U.S. title feud with Andrade, would be a great next step for him.
I'm also
like
going to throw a challenge to WWE. At Elimination Chamber, make it for the United States Championship.
Yeah, WWE. We know you're watching
Do
this
something
show.
different. You did it with the tag titles. You did it with the women. Let's do it with the United States Championship for the first time ever.
I think it'd be cool, man. And we were talking about it on the way over. The Elimination Chamber for me is like the second coolest pay-per-view stipulation in a long, long time. Of course, you guys will be able to see us at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view in March. Again, doing Over the Top Rope Live. Got to get our cheap little plug in. Mike warned you earlier on, but of course, Mike, introducing our next match. I think we're both pretty aligned, actually, because of announcements that will be impending for the end of this show. We've got to specify. You think that Andrade gets a dirty win, but he wins.
Yes, correct.
Okay, I am calling Humberto Carrillo wins via DQ. For the record, Mike, jot it in the notes.
Duly noted,
and then
sir.
Announce our next match.
Now, the one match that I personally would consider having in an elimination chamber about 3,000 miles away from the venue, a Falls Count Anywhere match between Roman Reigns and Baron King Corbin.
I am really, really happy / sort of upset that they have, like, we're obviously based out of Edmonton. We get the advertising for local and Western Canadian shows as far as WWE goes. Now, we can confirm, I know you've seen it as well, they are announcing a loser eats dog food match in Vancouver, I believe, for that night's taping of SmackDown. Whether or not that is going to happen or not obviously remains to be seen.
Spoiler alert, the Canucks still lose.
Well, that's a given, isn't it?
Whether or not that's going to happen, I've got no idea, but I do think that leads to
Spencer, would you like 2 more alcoholic beverages?
No, I'm still covered off.
Okay,
Thank
well,
you
she
very
already
much.
left, so it's all right.
I do think that it's going to continue from here. I think that leads me to believe that Roman Reigns is going to get the win just based off of the fact that he lost at, what was the last pay-per-view?
TLC.
TLC, yes, there we
Going
go.
to do it for high school football.
Yes, former Edmonton Eskimo.
Exactly,
Roman
I had to
Reigns.
make the pun.
I think that Roman gets his win here. It's going to be a hard-fought, brutal affair featuring the always devastating King, Lord, Baron, Esquire, Corbin.
Speaking of football, both these guys are former football players, as Baron Corbin dabbled with the Arizona Cardinals and a little bit of the practice squad of the Green Bay Packers, I believe.
Now, a question I pose to you and the fans out there of OTTR Live, is Baron Corbin a title or is Baron his first name? Because he's changed it up, King Corbin, Constable Corbin.
I
It's
think it's a
never been
stupid
like
name, and he
Constable
knows that.
Baron
That's why
Corbin.
he's trying to change it.
Two quick things, guys.
Yes.
One, Baron, yeah, that's his name. Let's not even kid it. Number 2, I'm glad you used the word dabble because it was with the Arizona Cardinals and sure as hell wasn't playing.
Well, I mean, nobody really plays well with the Cardinals unless your name is Larry Fitzgerald.
That's why you're here, Mike. You're here to fact check us and produce the show.
But, I mean, with that being said, also, pun to Nigel McGuinness, who made a great football analogy at Worlds Collide last night.
Great show.
Which, if you haven't checked it out, please do. But my call is Roman Reigns gets the 1-2-3 against Baron Corbin tonight.
So I want to go for the bonus point. Where does the pinfall happen?
Oh. If it was in Cleveland, I would say the dog pound, but it's not. It's in Houston. Maybe on top of a garbage can. But, I mean, who am I?
I think Roman Reigns will pin Baron Corbin
I saw
right
the
around
sign.
second base.
I stole the sign and won a World Series.
I'm
That's the second time you've used ace of base.
I know, and you liked it both times, I know.
Can,
that was
can I
fine.
can I predict that he gets run over by the train and he submits?
Ouch. You can. I don't think you'll get any points for it.
I don't plan on getting any points for anything. Anyway, do you mind
Take
we
us to the next match, absolutely.
well,
Michael.
our last match here before we go to a little intermission here.
And bring in some guests.
Our
And he means little.
Our first championship matchup we're going to talk about is for the SmackDown Women's Championship with the challenger Lacey Evans taking on the champion Bayley.
Parrish, you want to get your thoughts first? I can take the lead on this one. I got lots of great, eloquent thoughts about the SmackDown Women's Championship scene.
That's what you think. But no, I mean,
That was mean.
honestly, I think this is actually going to be one of the better performances of Lacey Evans' career. As I think this is one of her best tests. Bailey, if you haven't watched her enough, tends to let her opponent shine a lot in the match, and I believe this is going to stand true in this match. And I think Lacey Evans is going to solidify herself tonight as someone who actually does belong in the ring with the upper echelon and talent in the women's division. Whether or not it's okay to call it that anymore, I don't know. All I know is this match is actually going to be very worth your while. I do believe Bailey retains her title. Whether she gets a little help from the boss or not remains to be seen. I'm going to say she probably just gets a good win, a clean win, finishes this feud, and we probably see Lacey Evans do something else later on.
I think that this has been an excellent, excellent feud all the way around. I think that it took a little bit to hit its stride, admittedly, but whether it's been when Lacey's faced off with Sasha Banks or this impending match with Bailey, I think she's done a really, really great job of transitioning into a babyface. She's a born babyface, and I think I even talked about this with you when we were coming out of WrestleMania, when they were doing the sort of whole feud with Becky Lynch.
She's also a fantastic heel, and I think this displays just how well of a character she is.
I think she's a very good heel, but I think that as far as her sort of, I guess, real life backstory
her story
goes,
is absolutely
it's very,
heartwarming.
Very, exactly.
I mean,
it's very
how
easy
you
to
don't
get behind.
appreciate somebody like this, and I actually do. I'm going to say this: Lacey Evans, the person, I think exemplifies women's strength and women power and what a real woman is. And because of that, I have nothing but patience when it comes to her development in WWE.
Yep. And I think that she's not as bad as some people have critiqued her for being as far as her in-ring stuff goes. I mean, anybody who's relatively new to professional wrestling will make a mistake every once in a while. And when you're on the big stage of WWE, or the Federation, as the insiders call it, I think that you're going to get those things noticed more and more and more often than other people would be. You're even seeing it with AEW at this point. And frankly, as long as people are enjoying the matches, to me, that stuff just really doesn't matter unless it's a huge detriment to the match, right? I think that she's done a great job. I think that Bailey is the perfect heel to be going against because she was sort of the prototypical babyface, and I think she's done a great job transitioning into the heel realm of things as well. Whether Sasha gets involved, I don't think that she does. I think that you're going to see Bailey retain her championship, and I will explain why after we get to the break.
I do want to make one point, though, before we go there. I do see Lacey Evans in the same shoes that Carmella was, as possibly someone that may have been put up in the main roster too quick, but because they stayed with it and that their development actually progressed over the couple of years, they ended up being very good talents, and I see Bailey as being the new age Natty nowadays in terms of that thing. And Natty was instrumental in helping Carmella, and I think Bailey is that person now. Yeah. Not taken away from Natty at all, but I think Bailey is just, the new one, right? And
Fair
because
enough,
of that, I love this pairing, and I think people are going to be very impressed with this match when it's all said and done. Banks is not going to involve, that's my prediction.
Okay.
But Bailey still wins clean to end the feud.
Sounds good, my friend. When we come back on OTTR Live, we've got a couple of guests lined up for you guys here at Beercade YEG. They'll be appearing on the live show, obviously, but if you've got the opportunity, this is the time. Start your car, get in the vehicle, and head down to 105th Street and 82nd Ave, the home of Edmonton Professional Wrestling. It is the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. You are watching the OTTR Live pre-show, the first of the decade. Here from myself and Chris Parrish. We'll see you guys after the break.
And please don't hit my car.
When things aren't going right for your team, you scream at the television. When things are going right, you throw up a fist pump. The Win Column Sports Network puts your passion into words. Along with our affiliates Below the Ice, Duncan Duma, and Backbreaker Media, the Win Column Sports Network provides professional level coverage of semi-professional franchises, athletes, and organizations in Edmonton. Get in the Win Column with a fan's perspective on local sports with stories you can only find online at wincolumnsports.ca. From Lanny McDonald to Daryl Sutter, Mark Messier to Cale McCarr. Before you're a star, you've got to make it in the AJHL. On Saturday mornings, TSN 1260 takes an in-depth look inside the Alberta Junior Hockey League. Join Tyler Yaremchuk from 9 to 10 a.m. for previews, reviews, and interviews from around the AJ. Inside the AJHL, Saturdays from 9 to 10 a.m. Only on Edmonton's sports leader, TSN 1260.
Hello friends, this is Spencer Love, the host of Conversations with Love, the exclusive one-on-one interview series sweeping the nation, or at the very least, the great province of Alberta, Canada. Tune in weekly to Backbreaker Media, a proud member of the Win Column Sports Network, as I host a member of the independent wrestling community here in Alberta, or wherever the hell I feel like interviewing somebody from. You can only find it on Backbreaker Media, a proud member of the Win Column Sports Network, and proudly sponsored by Beercade YEG.
Are you looking for the newest and hottest in the world of pro wrestling? Then check out the amazing action on Powerslam.tv, the biggest indie pro wrestling channel in the world. Get over 6,000 hours of the best events from over 150 of your favorite promotions from 20 different countries around the globe. Brands like Progress Wrestling, Evolve Wrestling, Combat Zone, Defy, PCW Ultra, PWX, Over the Top, Shine, and hundreds of others with fresh content added every day for only $5.99 per month. Get your free trial today at Powerslam.tv.
When things aren't going right for your team, you scream at the television. When things are going right, you throw up a fist pump. The Win Column Sports Network puts your passion into words. Along with our affiliates Below the Ice, Duncan Duma, and Backbreaker Media, the Win Column Sports Network provides professional level coverage of semi-professional franchises, athletes, and organizations in Edmonton. Get in the Win Column with a fan's perspective on local sports with stories you can only find online at wincolumnsports.ca. From Lanny McDonald to Daryl Sutter, Mark Messier to Cale McCarr. Before you're a star, you've got to make it in the AJHL. On Saturday mornings, TSN 1260 takes an in-depth look inside the Alberta Junior Hockey League. Join Tyler Yaremchuk from 9 to 10 a.m. for previews, reviews, and interviews from around the AJ. Inside the AJHL, Saturdays from 9 to 10 a.m. Only on Edmonton's sports leader, TSN 1260.
Hello friends, this is Spencer Love, the host of Conversations with Love, the exclusive one-on-one interview series sweeping the nation, or at the very least, the great province of Alberta, Canada. Tune in weekly to Backbreaker Media, a proud member of the Win Column Sports Network, as I host a member of the independent wrestling community here in Alberta, or wherever the hell I feel like interviewing somebody from. You can only find it on Backbreaker Media, a proud member of the Win Column Sports Network, and proudly sponsored by Beercade YEG.
Are you looking for the newest and hottest in the world of pro wrestling? Then check out the amazing action on Powerslam.tv, the biggest indie pro wrestling channel in the world. Get over 6,000 hours of the best events from over 150 of your favorite promotions from 20 different countries around the globe. Brands like Progress Wrestling, Evolve Wrestling, Combat Zone, Defy, PCW Ultra, PWX, Over the Top, Shine, and hundreds of others with fresh content added every day for only $5.99 per month. Get your free trial today at Powerslam.tv.
Well, with all that singing there, welcome back to Over the Top Rope Live.
Singing.
Well, whatever.
Doing, I believe it's known in the musical industry. Scatting.
All right, well,
Pandering, but Nintendo style.
let's
I'm not into the scatting myself.
before we get into the second half of the show and we introduce our special guest, guys, talk about Beercade here, because this is a hell of a place to have for a
Talk
show.
about Beercade. Well, as I'm sitting here from our spot in the corner of Beercade YEG, I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 televisions. Of course, it is a great location to come and watch anywhere. Yeah, we're making like the proverbial count over here. Yeah. Lots of places to come and check out the Royal Rumble. It is a great location to come and just come and have a beverage, come and enjoy some of the menu items that they've got here on 105th Street and 82nd Avenue. And of course, all of the games that you can possibly imagine. Parrish and I squaring off in some skee ball, some basketball, some pinball, some Jurassic Park, just so that we're not just talking about balls here on the podcast.
Talked about scat and balls since I've joined
do yourself a favor and do not play Spencer Mario Kart. He cheats.
No, but in air hockey, he's my biatch.
But anyway,
before we get to, of course, what will be one of the main events, one of the 16 main events, according to WWE, of the evening, we have to introduce our guest. Of course, real Canadian wrestling star, the number one contender to the RCW British Commonwealth Championship. There's a lot of Commonwealth titles. I screw up my provinces. The Canadian Goose.
Do you think I'm still in contention for the belt, eh?
Of course I do. You almost
Sweet
had him
deal.
on the moonsault there, my friend.
Honk. How's it going, guys?
It's great, man. It is even better to have you here for your first appearance on OTTR Live.
Honky and you know it.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Honk if you're horny, ladies.
If you aren't down with the bonk, you get a bonk goose. It is great to have you on the show, man.
Hey,
of course,
you guys. I want to show
so
off my
much
sexy
better now.
new haircut here, so I'm going to...
Whoa! The Canadian Goose unmasking on OTTR Live.
Everybody knows who I am already anyways.
Goose, it's great to have you on here, man. Of course, the Royal Rumble, a highlight for myself and Parrish. It's a major event. We've got to bring in a major guest for the show. I'm glad you could fill those shoes. The Men's Royal Rumble, we are here to chat about it. I asked Parrish at the start of the show, I'm going to ask you specifically about the Men's Royal Rumble. What do you love about the Rumble?
Oh, bro. I'll tell you this. I have had 30 matches in my career so far.
Yes.
4 of them have been Rumble matches.
All right.
One of them was the cluster. Am I allowed to
F-bomb.
say?
It's not a cluster, it's a tribute.
Yeah, okay. That one of them was that, and I won that. So I guess I got a little bit of expertise here. I think the Royal Rumble is the most fantastic show of the entire year. It's my absolute favorite, and when I found out you guys were going to be down here, I was like, I got to go down, and just check it out. Because
Goose, you've got a unique insight into Rumble matches. Of course, you bring up the cluster F word that you yourself won. What does it take going into a Rumble match? You entered fairly early, so what do you have to sort of prepare yourself for? How do you get ready for something like's going to occur tonight?
Oh, bro.
Vince Russo joining the podcast.
That's my Matt Riddle impression. Anyway, I don't know what you can do to prepare. Like, there's like all the ones I've been in have had like 17, 18 people in them. They haven't been full 30-man rumbles, but still, that's a lot. And the cluster gimmick there was pinfall and submission elimination.
Yeah.
Not. What are you laughing at?
Gimmick. Love that word.
Okay. But the most important thing to realize about these matches is that, trust me, I'll know anyone can win these things.
100%, man. Now, the Men's Royal Rumble, 26 participants announced as of the time of me speaking. Lots of sort of your upper echelon, lower echelon stars. There's a weird mix as far as I'm concerned. You and I were having the conversation that I'm sure we'll touch a little on, but lots to talk about. Of tag teams being involved. We've got Otis and Tucker in this match. We've got your top guys.
Tag Team Royal Rumble.
I couldn't agree more. However,
Otis
we're here to
for the main
discuss the
event of
men.
Mania.
There's not really a ton that we can go into because, as you said, Goose, like it's hard to predict a winner in a match where everybody can win. But obviously, we're going to have to do that at some point. what I want to get from you guys, because there are only 4 spots still open in the Men's Royal Rumble, I want to get 2 NXT predictions out of the both of you, and I want to get 2 returning superstars that you feel will be in this year's Men's Royal Rumble. Shaw, you're the guest. I want you to go first. Who are your picks?
Well, from NXT, I'm definitely going with Keith Lee.
Okay.
He was a major powerhouse at the Survivor Series. I think he's absolutely awesome, you know. Also, I don't know. I'm kind of wondering if it'll be one of the fellas from Undisputed Era, or possibly, like I was saying, Matt Riddle.
Matt Riddle would be an excellent choice. He is a personal favorite of mine. I would love to have him in there. But I'm going to go with his tag team partner in the Broserweights as far as NXT goes. I think that Pete Dunne has looked excellent in every appearance he'd made for WWE,
100%.
whether it is being the NXT UK champion, the longest reigning NXT UK champion right now, whether it was his appearances when they went over to London, whether it was 2 or 3 years ago where Kurt Angle introduced him. Pete Dunne is going to be a star for WWE. It's a matter of when,
he already is.
not if. And I think that debuting him in the Royal Rumble and having him have a good long run would be excellent. The other guy that I want to talk about, I don't know how much NXT we're actually going to get as the pay-per-view pre-show begins above us. Andrade and Humberto Carrillo kicking off. Of course, they're showing all of it here at Beercade YEG. The other guy that I'm not sure is going to be in the match, but someone that I am going to predict will be, because I want to see him so damn badly. Give me Volta in the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
I would love to see him enter square off with Brock Lesnar at some point, whether it's later in the Rumble, whenever it may be. But I think that would be a massive moment for Walter, especially given, Shaw, you talk about Survivor Series. Maybe the NXT UK champ didn't have the best showing in that match, and WWE's got to do something to make people realize just how good he is again. I know Imperium won at Worlds Collide, but this would be another major statement from him. Put him in there.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, wouldn't it make just sense if we're going to go 2 NXT guys? We go with the champions. We go with Adam Cole, baby, and we go with the NXT UK champion, Walter. But if I'm going to go off the map a little bit, what about a returning Velveteen Dream?
Excellent choice.
And if we're going to go NXT with someone who I think would absolutely flourish in this opportunity, I'm going to go with Joe Coffey.
Okay.
I think this guy is a very untapped potential that can flourish in the WWE, whether it's any brand. I like watching this guy, and I would love to see him in the Royal Rumble. But my prediction, Walter and Adam Cole, baby.
Sounds good, my friend. Now, I think it's really interesting that you bring up Velveteen Dream, because unlike a lot of wrestlers that they talk about now with their proverbial dirt sheets out there, Velveteen Dream's been a guy who's been very, very protected, I guess would be the word, but people haven't talked about him a ton since he went out for those injuries. And I think that bringing him back in the Rumble with so little build behind it would be absolutely massive. Absolutely massive. Do you think that any of those guys that we've mentioned, before we move on to any surprise returns, this could be a full-time, quote-unquote, roster call-up? Or, like we saw last year with Adam Cole and a couple other individuals, could this just be something to get the crowd excited in Houston?
Well, I mean, we're talking about how Humberto and Andrade are, and Andrade also made his Royal Rumble debut last year as well as, I believe, the NXT champion at the time, as he just beat Johnny Gargano last January.
Yes, that's right.
And it might have been 2 years ago.
I was going to say, he's been in 2
ago.
Rumbles, I believe.
Yeah, I think it was 2 years ago, so that's my apologies. But I corrected myself, so I win.
I don't know if that's winning, proving that you're wrong.
I honestly don't think a permanent call-up for Keith Lee is out of the question.
Okay, even as the North American champ?
I'm only that's
I'd like to see it.
That's exactly what I said. I was
going
going to take Keith Lee out of a call-up because he just won the title.
Bring him up as a title holder, though, like they did with Kevin Owens. I think that'd be real, real cool. But I know we could talk about this for hours. There already is a pre-show going on. We need to see the Rumble that I'm certain will open the show,
just
whether
like
it's
safe
the men or the
sex,
women.
we got to wrap it up right now on this match.
I got two questions for you guys.
Sounds good, Mike.
First of all, pick a winner.
Pick a winner. I'm going to let you guys go on this one first. Paris Shaw started on the last question. You give your winner first.
I'm going to go with, we talked about protected. I think this is exactly why he hasn't put in a segment with Brock Lesnar on Monday Night Raw. I think he's going to eliminate Brock Lesnar. I'm going to go with Drew McIntyre tonight. I think that guy not only deserves an opportunity, this guy is a future champion. And I think it starts now. Drew McIntyre, if they do Roman Reigns, I'm going to eat dog food. Not it publicly, though.
I don't mind it. Kyle Shaw, your pick for the winner.
I'm going to go with one of my guesses for the surprise entrance. I've heard a lot of rumblings about Edge being in this, and I think Edge versus Brock would be like badass, or Edge versus Bray.
You're
Like-
not wrong on either of those. Edge coming back against Brock Lesnar would scare me just as much as when Daniel Bryan came back and faced Brock Lesnar. Like, just throwing the guy about. But you can't deny, like you said, man, it'd be an incredible match whether he chooses him, whether he takes on The Fiend. In my humble opinion, I think the winner of the Royal Rumble this year will go on to challenge The Fiend. My winner this year, you brought him up briefly, Parrish, Roman Reigns. The guy has not had a single interaction with Bray Wyatt since he returned. Even in that match where it was Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan tagging up against, was it Baron Corbin and, I can't remember.
Rude.
Something along those lines. Yeah, but The Fiend attacked Daniel Bryan. Roman Reigns was nowhere to be seen, and not for...
So you're taking exactly my theory, but going on the SmackDown end of it.
Yeah, I think that Roman Reigns has got this one. He hasn't been in the championship picture in a couple of years, and I think that if you're going to do it, I think that this would be a great opportunity to.
Well,
You think
Just
the crowd would get behind Roman?
they never will.
Against the right opponent,
I am going to say...
I think that Baron Corbin could be one of your final four, if not final two.
I'm going to say this. Watch out for Buddy Murphy. I feel he's going to be one of those guys we talk about of saying, oh, my God, did you watch Buddy Murphy in that Royal Rumble match? He is my pick to be the performer of the night in the Royal Rumble. Not the winner, but performer of the night.
So before I get to my second question, I want to just give a quick I want to end up with the cancel WWE Network hashtag going again. I'm going to pick Kane as my winner for this one.
Oh, I'd love it.
And my bonus question, who's going to have the more spectacular near-out, Kofi Kingston or John Morrison?
I think they should do
Kofi
like a double
Kingston.
near-out spot. That'd be
It's been a
sweet.
tradition for Kofi Kingston.
But it has been for Morrison as well.
They're going to get
Kofi
upstaged
Kingston.
again in the Women's Royal Rumble with someone I'll talk about then.
Now, real quick, just need some quick names for you guys. Kyle, you brought him up first already. So, a couple of surprise returns. You mentioned Edge. Who would your second be?
Undertaker, man.
Okay.
He's, he's a WrestleMania mainstay. I don't think he's officially retired ever.
Texan born, too.
Yeah. I mean,
This is in Houston.
it's the Undertaker, dude. How can you go wrong?
Fair enough, Parrish.
I'm going to go in the same direction with the Texans born, but I'm going to go with the icon, Sting.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
You've got Sting, one more.
I think with
Daniel Bryan, obviously, bringing back the American Dragon sort of persona for it. I think the way that they built this whole thing has been absolutely fantastic. And to bring a strap match in it the way that they've done it, there is no doubting that Daniel Bryan is an all-time great for the reasons that he's sort of introduced, bringing in the strap as far as this goes. He doesn't want the Fiend to have an opportunity to run, but it takes away Daniel Bryan's opportunity to run. I just think that this has been one of the better stories, not just in the last couple of months, only in the last year, but potentially for me of the last 5, 10, 15 years. I've really enjoyed what they've done as far as this goes. This is going to be a hell of a match, and just to sum it up for me, The Fiend at the very least is going to carry the Universal Championship into WrestleMania. I don't see him losing it tonight.
Well, did you want to go?
I want you to go.
Okay.
I want you to go.
My main point is the Fiend, not the Fiend, but Bray Wyatt and Daniel Bryan have competed at a Royal Rumble before, and it was like match of the night. So it would not surprise me if that happens again. Is the strap match, is that the one where they're strapped together, or is this going to be
strapped
like
together.
RCW style, where there's a bunch of guys on the floor with belts and
That's a
stuff?
lumberjack
Strapped
match, Kyle.
together.
Okay, well that's cool. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like I say, I'm looking forward to it, man.
Parrish, your thoughts?
My thought is Zelina Vega looks so hot right now. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Always.
I think this match is going to be absolutely off the hook. I think Daniel Bryan is rejuvenated, and it's the greatest thing to happen in WWE in the last 2 years, in my opinion.
Yep.
But I think the Fiend is too hot right now to say it's not your time now. I actually believe that the Fiend should hold the title
Andrade just beat Homeboy.
There we are. Andrade, of course, retaining the championship, as you called.
Yeah. You said DQ. Yeah.
Nicely
If
played.
only I
So-
had a certain strap to brag about.
So winners for
But
tonight, this
he
match?
talks about the strap match. I'm going to go with the Fiend Bray Wyatt. And you know what? I'm going to say we possibly could see a different turn of event. In this match, I think we might see for the first time ever someone helping the Fiend.
Okay.
And I don't know if you guys noticed this on SmackDown during the contract signing, but it looked like the Fiend replaced the red with possibly white on his pants. So I'm very curious to see if that's a thing. Because I tried it out on the video game this morning. It looks a little bit of all right.
Now, Shaw, your pick for the winner as far as it goes before we move on to the
I'm going to
next.
go with Bray just because, like, if my previous prognostication of Edge winning the Rumble comes true, Bray and Edge I don't think have ever wrestled each other, and I think it would be a hell of a match.
I completely agree with you, man. Now, if I remember correctly, Mike, I haven't looked at the run sheet in a bit, but we've got a championship match and the Women's Royal Rumble to talk about, and that's it. That's all as far as this goes.
Let's go with the championship match, the redemption story for Becky Lynch as she takes on Asuka, who took her out in the Royal Rumble last year.
I'll say this, man. I couldn't be more excited. I think that Becky Lynch has really, really got a lot of steam back as far as it goes with this feud. Asuka is one of the best in the business. I think that when she's been sort of allowed to do what Asuka does rather than what WWE wants her to do, I think it's great. There is nothing scarier to me, more imposing or cooler to me in WWE than when Asuka goes off the rails, just starts screaming in Japanese. I think that it's just such a unique part of her character. I really, really do. And I think that Becky Lynch has really, really tied this story together nicely. I think that the way that she's sort of developed her character to still be the man, but like a different version of the man. We've never seen Becky Lynch doubt herself, at least since even, let's say, SummerSlam 2 years ago, where she was supposed to turn heel, quote unquote. Since then, it has always been bravado. It has always been confident. And this has really been the first time that, you know, she's confident, but doubting herself. And I think that adding layers to Becky Lynch, which weren't like a huge necessity. I think it's a necessity for everyone, but she'd done a great job of building layers to her character before, and this has just done such a great job of doing that. Saying that, I think that if there's going to be a match of the night where they swerve the crowd, they change things up, whatever it may be, people talk about Ronda Rousey returning in the Rumble. Why would she not try and return right now to screw Becky Lynch out of the thing that she loves most? The Raw Women's Championship, a main event at WrestleMania. I would love to see Ronda come back. I'd love to see her screw Becky out of the championship because Becky Lynch, she is that good. There are very few women up to this point that have been able to be that good or good enough, that they can carry a WrestleMania main event, quote unquote, without a championship involved. And I think that Becky versus Ronda is a pure grudge match versus a championship match. Could work. You could get Asuka facing off with whoever wins the Royal Rumble, or whoever wins the Royal Rumble facing off with Becky Lynch, Bayley. But I think that Becky Lynch is a big enough star at this point. She supersedes a championship, and a story with Ronda Rousey would be huge. Huge. So there's my dark horse prediction. I got to make one every pay-per-view. I think that Ronda Rousey returns tonight. I think she returns during this match. I think that Asuka leaves the evening as your Raw Women's Champion.
I'm going to go, if you don't mind, on this, but it sounds like I convinced you last night when we had this exact conversation, because that's exactly what I don't think Ronda Rousey versus Becky Lynch needs a title.
Yep.
For this match to be, but it is definitely a WrestleMania match.
Yeah.
And because of this, I love the story of Asuka being the kryptonite to Becky Lynch. And I would like this to continue. And not only would I like this to continue, but I would like Becky to be screwed out of the title by Ronda Rousey, like you said, and have maybe Kairi Sane win. And for the first time ever, we're seeing tag team champions face each other for the Raw Women's title at
Great thought, man.
WrestleMania.
Are you calling Kairi Sane? Well, we'll get into that in a minute. Who's your winner for this one?
going to say Becky Lynch wins, but my heart is saying Asuka. I want to see this story continue. I want to see the fact that Asuka is her kryptonite. I want to see that continue. But I'm going to go with Becky Lynch because she's the hottest thing in wrestling right now.
Kyle Shaw, quick prediction.
I am going to one-up both of you guys. I think that Asuka does win, but that's because I want to see Ronda and Shayna come out together and just beat the trash out of Becky there. Then maybe we get Becky and Charlotte against Shayna and Ronda at WrestleMania.
I really like that,
We can get the other 2 horsewomen in there. Maybe we could even do like a big 6-man or 8-man tag team thing or something, you know?
All right.
I think Shayna is primed for a big call-up very soon.
Sounds good. Now, we are moving on to our final match of the evening. Of course, the Royal Rumble pay-per-view beginning at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. You've still got time to get down to Beercade YEG, the home of Edmonton Professional Wrestling, down here on 105th Street and 82nd Avenue in Edmonton, Alberta. Drinks are $4 all night. That's not just something for the start of the evening. You get that all night. You've got the Royal Rumble taking place this evening, of course. Speaking of the Royal Rumble, folks, Kyle Shaw, the Women's Royal Rumble. I'm going to start with you on this one because, again, you started the Men's Royal Rumble match. We're going to do the same thing just to keep things even. 2 NXT appearances, 2 surprise appearances, despite the fact that as of this point, only 7 women announced for the Royal Rumble.
And only 5 on their graphic for the match.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of surprise appearances.
Well, for sure. As they have for the last couple of years, and I think that there hasn't been a bad Royal Rumble match in at least a few years, including the fact that the women have never, yes, in 2 years, but never had a bad Royal Rumble to this point.
I'm thinking, as far as my 2 NXT guys go, or ladies, excuse me, Rhea Ripley, for sure.
Okay.
And then I'm going to go with Toni Storm as well from NXT UK.
Great call. Great showing last night against the aforementioned Rhea Ripley at Worlds Collide. I think that she's primed for wherever she goes, she's going to be huge. But someone like that,
super hot, crazy hot.
All right, Kyle, calm down. She's not on your Tinder
Parrish,
profile.
I mean, the goose is pulling out a loony right now, and you guys can't see. But I'm going to say I love the amount of people not named on this. I think we're going to see a lot of NXT UK people. I think the one that I think I'm very curious of seeing mesh with the Raw SmackDown women is Piper Niven.
Okay. NXT UK.
Yeah, I think she is primed to be a major player for the women's division. I would love to see her and possibly a returning Nia Jax face off. I'm getting the nod of approval from the ref over there, so I know I'm saying something good. So, yeah.
One more NXT woman. I've got predictions to make you.
I'm gonna go.
Did you say Jericho? He's not a woman.
I said I'm gonna go, and then I paused locked. I'm thinking, so I didn't expect that comment or that question.
Because he already gave 2.
Nia Jax?
No, you
Okay,
said
no, that's fair.
NXT.
That's
Rhea,
I would love to see. What's her name? Mercedes Martinez.
Oh yeah.
Great call.
That.
Great call.
I was thinking of her. I'm like, it's a car. I know. I'm not a car guy, but yeah, no. Mercedes Martinez. She looked great in the NXT Battle Royal. She is there. I think Chauncey Blackheart will be as well. But I'm gonna go with Mercedes Martinez. I think she is primed to look great in this match. I've always been a fan of her, and I think she stands to benefit from a Royal Rumble appearance.
I think that's a great call as well. Obviously, folks, I got to show some love for the shirt off my back. Chelsea Green, the hottest free agent, or the former hottest free agent. I think she's making appearance in tonight's Royal Rumble.
Jude Dawkins will get mad about that, by the way.
Chelsea Green will make an appearance. I think that obviously going between main event, going between Raw, going between NXT, she's showing up everywhere. With the partnership with Robert Stone, I think that with him...
He's a dick.
I don't disagree, but going out for different business opportunities for his client, I think that you want to be in the biggest match of the year. So get involved in the Royal Rumble as far as that is concerned. The other woman that I think will make an appearance is someone who already has debuted in the Royal Rumble, but Candice LeRae is always someone who comes out and puts on a great showing. Again, someone that I've got a bit of a bias towards because she is someone that has long been one of my favorite pro wrestlers. So, maybe not the most realistic choice because there are a lot of other women who are just as deserving of an opportunity in the Royal Rumble. But like you said, Kyle Shaw, lots of individuals that have the opportunity because of the lack of announcements thus far. So I'm going with Candice LeRae, Chelsea Green. I'm going to get started on my 2 Legends appearances as well, just because we've got to wrap it up fairly quickly. They're already opening up the vignettes. I think Michelle McCool's making an appearance because she looked really good in the inaugural Women's Royal Rumble. And I also think, as far as Legends goes, Caitlyn, she's got to come back. She was in the Mae Young Classic in the most recent edition of it. Why not bring her back, get the crowd excited? She's always someone I'm happy to see. Let's make it happen, WWE, to close it out on a rhyme.
I'm going to say watch out for Casey Catanzaro. She is going to be not only the one who makes John Morrison and Kofi have to step up their game like she did last year. No. She's back, baby, and she's better than ever. She's also in that NXT Battle Royal. She is my pick for Performer of the Battle Royal for the women's. So watch out for Casey Catanzaro.
Now, Kyle Shaw, 2 more returns before Mike closes it out. I plug our stuff in the next little bit, and we tune into the Royal Rumble matchup.
The Legends, eh? I'm going to go with Victoria. I want to see Victoria.
Good call.
She's a solid worker, great wrestler.
What a babe. I love her.
Yeah, she's pretty good looking,
Okay.
no doubt about that.
Next.
I also, I know it's kind of obligatory just because she shows up all the time, but Trish.
All right, man. I'm never upset to see Trish Stratus.
100%.
I am
She's
never
fantastic.
upset to see Trish Stratus. Lots of S's in there, but I am never upset for the Royal Rumble, regardless of who's in it. If you guys have the opportunity, head down to Beercade YEG 105th and 82nd Avenue in Edmonton,
bad boys.
Alberta. They've got video games.
not
They've
the
got
No.
24/7
These
title.
are not tokens.
It's not the 24/7 title. It's a Beercade token. They look just the same.
They're miniature replicas of the 24/7
Hey,
title.
Everybody be nice. Beercade YEG, not only the home of Edmonton Wrestling, but the home of the WCSN, the Win Column Sports Network of podcasts. Don't forget to tune in over the next little bit. I've got interviews coming up with Alicia Atoot, Davey O'Doyle, a lot of members of the independent wrestling scene. Kyle Shaw, the host of Monday Night Shaw.
I just want to say we did a lot of fantasy booking here tonight, and tomorrow on Monday Night Shaw, we're going to have the big fantasy booking of Alberta Mania go up live, hopefully, if Spencer's on the ball here. And
If he's on the ball, that's never a guarantee
Yeah.
after the Royal Rumble.
but it's going to be some good stuff on that podcast. It was a fun time to record it, so definitely tune in to Monday Night Shaw tomorrow night.
100%. And Parrish has nothing to plug because he stopped doing a podcast months ago.
No, but
He's gonna
wife,
come on
I'll
Monday
be
Night Shaw
home
soon
tonight.
too.
I'll make my plugs after you're done here, Spencer, because we have such a spectacular announcement to make
Saying
right
my
now.
wife is the
Dude,
only thing
now,
I'm going to
Kyle Shaw, you get to be part of the official announcement over the next little bit. The WCSN has been hard at work in cultivating sponsorships and doing good things, to use my exact phrases over the text messages I sent to Mr. Parrish himself about this next month. We will be unveiling, but unveiling the inaugural WCSN Elite Canadian Championship. We will have a championship title between the participants of the OTTR Live podcast. Every single time that you come out to Beercade YEG, there will be a championship
Wait,
here
you have to wrestle
ready
for it here at
to be
Beercade?
defended. 100% not. Kyle Shaw, just to swerve you on that one.
Mr. Shaw, the rules will be described at my next plug here in just a moment.
Absolutely. We're not sure exactly when it will be because
no.
in negotiations with Beercade YEG, we're working on NXT TakeOver Portland. You may see Chris Parrish and myself here working on NXT for the very, very first time. Kyle Shaw, of course, you are always welcome to come out for that sort of
Before
thing.
that, Mike the Ref doesn't have an inner ear problem. There's something going on in his microphone.
I'm getting this buzz through my ear. Spence, you sent out some lackeys to go work on that negotiation, right?
Uh-huh.
It has been confirmed. Our
Excellent.
Our next OTTR Live will be February 16th from Beercade YEG, covering our first ever NXT TakeOver
NXT
Portland.
TakeOver Portland, over the top rope live NXT edition, the yellow and black brand. getting some love here from Chris Parrish
I
and
prefer
myself.
gold and black.
And
And
hopefully
it's only going to be
Kyle
5
Shaw.
matches, so it'll be quicker.
Before we close things out, I want to thank you for appearing on the show. Very excited to watch the Rumble with you, my friend.
Can I
It's gonna
get
be a
one more
blast.
plug in there?
Ah, why not? You're a
All
good
right,
guy.
January the 31st, RCW is returning to Calgary. February 1st, we're going to be here in Edmonton. Monster Pro also has a show in Edmonton on February 1st. So there's going to be plenty of wrestling going on next weekend. So check out the live stuff because, in my personal opinion, it blows watching it on TV right out the water.
100% Mike. We're going to let you close it out here, but before we do that, I want to thank you for tuning into this edition of OTTR Live. We hope to see you down here at Beercade YEG sooner rather than later. Don't forget, subscribe to the WCSN for your previews, reviews, breaking news, and interviews from the Canadian pro wrestling scene. Lots of great stuff coming up. We touched on it a little bit. Don't miss out on any of it, including February 16th's next edition of Over the Top Rope Live from Beercade YEG. Mike, I'm going to take it to you before we close it out.
All right,
I've already
folks.
spent $20 on beer.
And just remember, folks, our next recording here on Backbreaker Media Network will be looking at mid-February with a live look-in from the next Force Pro Wrestling show. Date to be confirmed here in the next week here, but I'm pretty sure we're going to have a Force Pro Wrestling show prior to. We're going to see who's going to be on commentary. Spencer did a hell of a job last time, and
That I did. I'm pretty handsome and good at talking.
well, he
You
still
think
has.
Squig would let me do commentary?
I'm
still-
glad you took the pointers I showed you.
He still has to get the interview with Shotgun Sid for me, but that's still a qualification. But we'll leave it there. Now, remember, folks, thank you for checking us out here at Beercade YEG. Come down here, enjoy some great food, and we will see you all here back for Over the Top Rope Live, February 16th.
Thanks.